I'm talking also on the Public Service Broadcasting Bill, or as we'd like to call it, the Public Disservice Broadcasting Bill, because in its current form, that's what it would be, a significant public disservice. There's been a lot of talk recently about the importance of an independent regulator for the print media, and this has been pushed by the ANC. Indeed, there's been a common tone of, or tune of independence and how important it is. And this is a pity then, because the DOC doesn't really seem to be listening to what its own party is saying. And you kind of have to wonder why. Because if you look at the Public Service Broadcasting Bill, among others, they are at the moment the antithesis of independence. So we're getting mixed messages here. Now the problem with mixed messages, of course, is that it creates uncertainty and undermines trust and credibility in a democratic state. So when you're doing as the DOC seems to do, introducing bills with uncertain terms, and I'll get to one in a moment, you're then further creating a level of cynicism and uncertainty in the country around the state's intention. The bill, let's be clear, also has some admirable goals to bring about substantive changes, and we need them in our public broadcasting sector. But our view is that we need to do this, we need a full and comprehensive public engaged policy review process.
What it does say, and I think this is important for people to look at, it talks about the minister playing a very important role in terms of this fund. And I want to just look at some of the things that it actually says in terms of it. It says that the minister will determine any other uses of the fund other than what I talked about, which are the variety of things in terms of the community media and SABC, etc. So any other uses the minister will determine, and it doesn't say that there will be public consultation on that. The minister has got a huge amount of say in terms of that. It then says the minister will make regulations regarding contributions, uses and exemptions in relation to the fund. Very powerful. Again, it doesn't talk about huge consultation processes and things around that. Then it says the MDDA, with approval of the Minister of Communications and consultation with the Minister of Finance, will develop criteria for the allocation of funds. Now here, there is some sort of sense around some public consultation, because it says that for 30 days in the Government Gazette, it will be printed. If the MDDA feels like it wants to hold a public consultation on it, it can say yes. It doesn't have to. It has the possibility of agreeing to that. But the interesting thing is that if the MDDA decides to change the criteria, all it needs to do is just to notify in the Gazette that it will change the criteria. So what you're seeing here is that you're not getting a lot of input from the public, and the minister has got a lot to say. Also, it's quite interesting in terms of some of the detailed interventions. It authorises the minister to make regulations specifically around advertising and how much advertising spend the SABC should have. And also, it talks about the amount of funding that potentially the SABC would have to pay back to government and would not necessarily be put into the fund, which is kind of a strange stipulation there. But it gives a sense of the fact that the minister would play a very important role in terms of the detailed issues around that particular fund. So I think, in a nutshell then, what we're saying is that it's a very huge, important new institution that is going to be set up. It doesn't have any discussion in the bill about what kind of a board it would have. If you do look at any of the detail that is there, it's very specific about the minister playing very, very important roles. So I think that is worrying. We need to put a question mark around that and say, is this going to further freedom of expression or not?